Now, Talk Real Estate with Sharon McNamara, sponsored by Boston Connect Real Estate Services.
Hi, I'm your host, Sharon McNamara, and you are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. Let me share a little bit about my background before we get started. I am the broker owner of Boston Connect Real Estate, a boutique firm that is home to over 30 real estate sales and marketing agents who service home buyers and home sellers throughout Boston, the South Shore, the South Coast, and Cape Cod. Our firm takes pride in assisting our clients in the next chapter of their lives by taking a holistic approach to their real estate endeavors. We believe that every move should be a moving experience. Every week, my co-host Melissa Wallace and I will provide you with my team's unique marketing approach to selling homes and share with you our expertise in navigating the home buying process. We value the experience of our agents at Boston Connect Real Estate so much that not only will you hear my perspective on real estate topics, occasionally you will hear the expert thoughts and opinions of our experienced agents at Boston Connect Real Estate. Be a part of our roundtable. If you have any questions during the show, please call 781-837-4900. We'd love to talk real estate. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and wherever you like to listen to podcasts at Talk Real Estate Roundtable. If you would like a one-on-one consultation with me and my team to discuss your real estate needs, you can connect with me at bostonconnect.com or 781-826-8000. Now, sit back, relax, take good notes, and let's talk real estate. And good morning to all my South Shore neighbors. This is Sharon McNamara. You are, of course, listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. And here we are, 2026. Whew.
Let's see if we remember how to do this.
How do we do this? It's been a while.
It has been a while.
So I have been out and about and did a little vacation and all kinds of different things happening in my life. So December went in a blink.
Yeah.
Sort of glad about it. Get those holidays behind us. Looking forward to 2026.
Yeah.
My word is embrace. Did you come up with one?
No, I didn't.
All right. Well, can you work on that?
What could be my word?
I don't know. Mine's embrace. If you want to borrow it, I have all the pictures and stuff, so you can do that.
You have all your
all my thing, with my arms up like that in the sand. We made that in Jamaica. I never tell anybody when I'm going away because I'm always afraid people will break into my house or something.
You know what? It's so funny because I never say that you're away when you're like, I just say, oh, she's at an appointment or she's, I
can't make it.
Can't make it.
Yep, she can't make it. No one will ever know when I'm out of town until I come back and I can tell you all about my fabulous vacation. But I have to say Happy New Year to the one and only Jim. I almost said Jim. Tim McKinney. Good morning.
That's the brother I don't know about. Good morning, Sharon. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. Yes.
My mom just texted me and said, sounds like your word is procrastination. Because I couldn't come up with the word
Thanks,
yet.
Mom.
Oh, that's a good one, Mom. That's a really good one. Yeah, she's fun. I didn't know she had a little funny side to her on Saturday mornings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But what was I talking to you about the other day? And you're like, I bet my mom watches it. Oh, the ugliest homes in America.
Do you watch Ugliest Homes in America, Mom? She'll text me.
It's crazy. It's a funny show. Like, I want to be that girl. Like, I want that show for me. Have you seen it, Tim?
I haven't seen it, but the host I love. She is hysterical. I saw her in Good Girls.
Okay. I didn't know if she was a comedian.
I think she's a comedian, but yeah, she's a good time. I like her.
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Oh, she is a riot, and I just want to be her. I'm like, I could do that.
Just the clip when she's talking to the lady saying, "Do you cry a lot?" She says, "I do. It's like, oh no,
I do. Yeah, and she's like so afraid of ghosts and everything. Yeah. I mean, she's really a riot. I should have her on this show.
Yes.
And,
oh, that'd be so much fun.
Yeah, I'm going to reach out to her and just say, but you'll have to watch beforehand, Mel.
Yeah, my mom says she does watch, and whoever we're talking about is hysterical.
She is literally hysterical, yeah. And I could go on there with my saying, I bet you she would love it when people are like, yeah, nobody has an ugly baby. Like we go into people's homes and they're like, oh, but my house is better than my neighbor's house because of this. Yeah. And my house is better than that house that you're showing me a comp for. And it's like, I'm showing you brand new construction and your house is like,
an antique.
And you can't even shut the doors because it's, so off.
The comedian's name is Retta, R-E-T-T-A.
Retta. We should remember that because of Teresa Roth's. Her daughter's name is Retta.
Yes.
Teresa,
Retta.
Good friend of mine in the industry. She previously worked here at Boston Connect Real Estate.
Yeah.
So she's a great person, great agent. And her daughter's name is Retta. Retta. She's funny. Oh,
Does Retta drive a Jetta?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe she should.
Possibly.
Maybe she should.
Maybe to be funny. She
Yeah, she really is a hoot. She truly is. Anyways, enough about promoting her. Let's promote us.
Yeah, let's promote us. It is a new year, and I'm excited. I have a good feeling about this year.
I do too, for all aspects of it. So I think I may have talked on the show that I did. My dad did pass.
Yes.
Yeah. So I did talk about that and let you into my world that way. And, you know, Mark and I did our vacation at the end of the year, into the new year. We left Christmas morning and, we went to Jamaica. We were thinking about going to Aruba, which we've done in the past, or someplace else, but we thought, hey, why don't we go there and support them with tourism, because they had the hurricane October 28th. The island on the grill side, it's, you know, still intact. There were 2 big hotels that were still shut down because of electricity. Personally, one I think is an insurance scam, but hey, like, that's not my job. But I'm like, there's nothing wrong with this place. But anyways, yeah, it was really nice, and to connect with the people that work there. So like all the workers in there, I go to the couples. It's a smaller place, and, you know, Mark and I, you know, talking to the staff and everything, like, how are you making out? A lot of the workers still don't have electricity
In their home?
in their homes, and no water.
Yeah, what's the crisis relief there? Like,
Well,
anything?
there's, you know, there were a lot of trucks that came from, I want to say, East Coast of, you know, the United States. I think there were like 1,500 linemen that went over there to help, you know, because one whole side of the island, more towards like Montego Bay, I think, in that area, it like swept through there, and just all the lines went down. And of course, they don't have the infrastructure we do with underground wires and things like that.
Yeah.
So a lot of them don't have anything. And you may have remembered me talking about this one boy, OJ, that I met last year. And I had hurt my shoulder when we went there in March. And he was he's just a great kid. He was like 24 years old. He worked in the activities like outside water sports. And I decided to go snorkeling one day, and he's like, I'm going to come with you. So he like stayed. He was just a good kid. And, you know, I had been talking to him, and he had sent me a video right after the hurricane, and his apartment was destroyed. And when I tell you, these people I have to say one thing about Jamaican people: resilient, 100% resilient. And it was very eye-opening, you know, for us, where we come from a place of no want, right? Well, we really don't want for anything. And they're like, we would ask, like, how did you make out in the storm? And like their eyes would fill up, and they'd be like, I lost everything, but, you know, I'll rebuild. I got my life. I have my life. I have my life. And that's all they said. So they were just so sweet. So, it's a no tipping place. You know, the couples, they prefer that you don't do tipping, but Mark and I don't follow the rules. Yeah. So, you know, I got
you buy ones from me.
Yeah, I buy ones from you, but they're just so appreciative. You know what I mean? You just leave them $5 on the table after breakfast or dinner or whatever, and you have to sort of cuff it to them.
Yeah.
I felt like, whoop, I was secretive.
Do a little deal there.
Yeah. I'm cuffing you the money, but you're not giving me anything in return. I don't, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really nice to get away and rest. And one of the things I said is I didn't realize how stressed I have been for the last couple of years until I wasn't stressed anymore. So you may hear a little, I don't know, little step in my voice.
Little pep in your voice?
Little pep in my voice, yeah. The other thing, too, is I did right before, you know, in the beginning of December, I guess it was, maybe like the end of, no, it was right after Thanksgiving, I started going back to Medi weight loss. So remember, I did that previously. It's like a keto type thing, you know what I mean? Like cutting out sugar and, you know, and carbs and staying on track with journaling and doing all that stuff. So I have been doing that, and I'm down 11 pounds.
Wow.
Isn't that fantastic?
And you went on vacation, the holidays and everything, and you're still down 11
and
pounds.
That's awesome. Even on vacation, I lost like 3 pounds, which was great because, you know, the good news was they had a lot of fish there, and I'm not like really a big fish eater.
Yeah.
So, but I just stayed away from the bread and I didn't drink. So like, there you go.
There you go.
That's my problem.
That's awesome.
You know? Yeah. So, shout out to Medi Weight Loss, and I go to the one in Plymouth. So, they're great. And I get my
I know,
B12 shot.
You do love your many weight loss.
I do. Well, they give me a B12 shot, and for my thalassemia minor, it gives me a little energy.
Ooh.
Maybe that's the pep in my voice.
Yeah, that's your little pep this week.
There's a little pep in my voice.
She got a what is it?
B12?
B12 shot.
Yeah,
there you
B12.
go.
I think, So anyways,
Anyways,
what are we talking about today? Now let's get back on track. I just wanted to fill everybody in. I took 5 minutes to do that. That's where my life is, and that's where I am. And things are great and wonderful, and I'm looking forward to 2026.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it's going to be a great year. I mean, just based off of the conversations, we're only about 2 weeks or so into the year, but, having great conversations with our agents and just feeling the energy shift for some reason after December. I don't know if it's just the start of the new year and everyone just feels like, okay, it's a fresh start. Reinvigorated. Maybe that could be somebody else's word in the office. Reinvigorated. And I think a lot of people are excited. I think got some things in the pipeline and just ready to kick off the year strong. So you do a class every Friday here at the office. And it's, a group of us that come together and sort of learn from each other, learn from you. You work really hard on your agenda and all these things to sort of motivate and teach our agents certain things in the industry. And I know you were supposed to sort of start the year off, talking about buyers and things like that, but that shifted to sellers. And I think that that's the reason why we chose our topic today. Is our focus right now is sellers and, the inventory that we have and how can we boost that? Because if there's more inventory for sellers, that means those sellers can turn into buyers. And that's what we would love to see. Yeah.
And sort of push the ketchup out of the bottle. And I know, our president right now, President Trump, is doing some things right now, trying to pass some bills, I guess, for sort of like motivating, the bigger industries, like the big banks and things like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to, put some money towards the money-backed securities. I am going to tell you the truth. I know nothing about that because I'm surrounded by people who know all that stuff. So, I guess when that happens, then generally speaking, we might see the rate, the mortgage rates go down. I've heard half a point potentially that would happen. Who knows? I mean, right now I think that they're hovering in the high 6s, right? Low 7s, maybe, or in that area. I know Mackenzie did really well when she bought her house in Plano recently. I think she was like 5.75 or something like that, 5.95. So they're in the 6s anyways. Maybe they'll come down a little bit more. I feel very confident in saying without a crystal ball, we will never see them where we saw them before. I mean, at 2.35 and those rates, that will probably never happen again. And I'll say it out loud. I don't think it ever should. Yeah. I think that it just sort of made the housing industry go in a different direction where now people could afford more money, which was great. And I think that that's what the theory behind it is that, people could have, people who couldn't afford could now afford, but the problem is everybody wants more than what they, should be, right? So people just kept on going over and over and over and over. So they were still pushing themselves too much.
Yeah. So part of the reason why you sort of had that shift of, okay, let's have our focus be sellers in the beginning of the year, whether it's your class or here on the show, is because you've been having conversations, especially with your own clients, with agents and their clients, that, they waited. They were sort of maybe ready, and I'm putting air quotes, ready last year, but decided to wait. And now all of a sudden it's January. Let's get it on the market now. So I think that we will see sort of trickling inventory coming on in the next couple
already.
weeks.
Yeah, I already see. I mean, it was the hot sheet that I look at every day. I'm seeing a lot of new inventory right now.
Yeah. And just based off of the conversations, even with your own clients or even with some of our agents of, why did people wait until now? And also, we've always said, okay, spring market starts Monday after Super Bowl, but this year it seems to be a little bit earlier than that.
Yeah, and I think that that's sort of something like historically that we're sort of seeing, because spring market used to be April, May, that people would be thinking, oh, I'm ready for the spring market. And they would always think about, the daffodils coming up and the tulips coming up and all that, and like the yard looking a little bit better. And that was always sort of the indicator that spring market is here. But then it sort of shifted to the first Monday after Super Bowl Sunday, which this year is January 8th. So that February 8th. So February 9th would be that, okay, it's spring market. But now I'm seeing people just sort of not, like everybody's trying to get ahead of it. And that's one of the things I wanted to sort of dissect a little bit with you here today is, why is that? Why is it that sellers are now saying, I want to hit the market before everybody else comes on the market? And is that good for buyers or not? Mm-hmm. So, and like I said, I look at a hot sheet every day. So that comes through MLS, and I've created it for all my surrounding towns. And I can see what's new, what's gone under agreement, or contingent under agreement, what's sold. And I've been seeing a lot of new inventory coming on the market. I know for myself, I have 4 new listings that will potentially be coming on soon. Yeah. And it's the same thing when, people are like, I don't want to come on near the holidays. And we always said to people, coming on by the holidays, so long as you're priced right. I think that that's the difference too, because we had this conversation yesterday in our class, is some people who came on in like November, December, and I want to say in quotes, testing the market. Yeah. Right. But you can't really test a market that might potentially be testing you, one. And I've said that many a times, but I think that, when it's near the holidays, people will be like, oh, I'll just wait. But if you priced it correctly during that time, those are the houses that sold.
And I actually saying that, I think that testing the market during the holidays is actually the worst time to do it, because you have the more serious buyers, and we've always said that because they're the ones willing to, brave the storm out there and go out there and have their time interrupted during, this busy time towards the end of the year. And I think that it is probably the worst time to test the market, because I think the market, like you just said, would be testing the seller, because if I was a buyer and I only wanted to, I don't want to waste my time. During that time frame, I don't want to waste my time looking at something that I know is overpriced and, potentially the seller is not going to budge or anything like that, not being able to negotiate. And I just don't want to waste my time doing that. So I'm going to, find something that's within my budget and is priced accordingly. And I think that, that's probably the worst time to sort of test the market in a sense.
It's interesting because as you're talking, I'm thinking about that slide I have that says, the value of your house is not what I want, what I need, and what I have to have. It's what somebody is willing to pay for it. And one of the things, what's so different in the industry, again, remember, this is my 24th year in the industry. There's been a lot of changes, especially when it comes to technology. And the reason why you can't test a market, and why we say it this way, you can't test a market that's testing you. You can't test a market that's probably smarter than you. Yeah. Because buyers are smart. Buyers have all of that information in their hand. It isn't like they have to depend on, a real estate agent to give them what the comps were. Now, one of the most interesting factors for me was when I was in Dallas, in Texas, and Mackenzie bought her house, and there are several other houses there. Utah is one of them too. They're I might have to think of the word. Something states, but they don't tell the sale price. Nobody knows the sale price. You can't go on to Zillow and find the sale price of Mackenzie's home right now. Oh. So they're I'll think of the word. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that makes it, for the real estate agent, you're in a much different position than we are here, because our buyers are pretty much on top of it. They know they can go on to Zillow, they can go on to realtor.com, they can go anywhere they want and find the sold prices of houses, right? And we can too. In those states that can't, the general consumer cannot. So they have to depend on the real estate agent more to get that information for them out of MLS.
I wonder why.
I don't
wonder
know
what the reasoning is for that.
I don't know. It's like privacy, something or other.
I don't know. Someone should tell homes.com then, because you can find out some interesting things on that site.
But even on homes.com, if you're in Texas or you're in Utah, you can't get that information.
I know, but privacy would be great around here too.
Yeah,
probably.
I think so. I mean, I think it actually makes, I think, the real estate agent have a little more value in those states, you know what I mean, when it comes to working with buyers. But my point to my clients that are thinking about selling right now, and this show is focused on home sellers, I say to them, people will say, let's just put it on the market for this and just see if somebody bites. It just doesn't work that way. It hasn't worked that way for years, by the way, because buyer's agents, my job as a buyer's agent is to say, all right, this is how much this house is on the market. These are the comps for this house. We have to worry about it appraising. There's so many things that we have to think about. So I'm going to find that information out as the buyer's agent. And if somebody is unrepresented buyer, they already know before they get there.
Yeah.
They know how much you paid for it. They know how many mortgages you've taken out on that house.
Yeah.
How many times you've refinanced, how many times you've done a cash out refi. Like, they know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all right.
And they can find out your name.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just, I agree. And, especially you brought up an unrepresented buyer. I mean, there could potentially not know certain things too. And this is more focused towards buyers that are listening. And this is why it's so important to have representation, because when you're going into something, potentially purchasing something so big as a house and you're not represented, I mean, that could be scary. I mean, that's why it's so important to have representation, and so and you have a professional that is going to be doing that research and making sure that you aren't did you get the answer?
Yeah, it's a non-disclosure state. It means prices in real estate transactions are not disclosed or recorded as public record. Interesting, right?
I wonder why. It'd be interesting.
Oh, I can continue to do that search if you want. Oh, yeah. Okay.
I just would be curious what the reasoning is.
Yeah.
I mean, we have certain things in place where, first responders and things like that, we can't find, public can't find that information out, which I totally agree with. But yeah, it'd be interesting to know why it's everybody. But I mean, we could have that here too. So I guess we can try to get that in motion, maybe. How do we get that started? Who do we call? The state?
I think there are things that we should get rid of before we start to get and put more things on. All
right, we'll work on that then.
All right. Well, like how far you're driving, that's the new one.
How far I'm driving?
Anybody. Yeah, that's what
it takes me 8 minutes to get to work.
I know, but they're going to be monitoring how much you drive.
Oh. Well.
That's another show.
Who is it?
It says that many non-disclosure states place a high value on financial privacy. The sale price is considered private, contractual information between the buyer and the seller, not the public. Legislators in these states believe homeowners should not be required to disclose what they paid or sold for. And I think I agree with that too. I don't really think it's anybody's business, especially when you come into like situations where we did have, when people are overbidding on a house. And that's where I come as like a buyer's agent, and I'll tell people, all right, here are the comps on this house. We're looking at a 4-bedroom colonial on a cul-de-sac in this condition. It has, AC, a garage, all the things, right?
Yeah.
And we're looking in the same town, same type of neighborhood, same style of house. Like, we're comparing apples to apples, right? And when you put those side by side, that's where I find out what the value of the house is. But if that neighborhood, or if the person I'm working with really wants to be in that neighborhood, they're like, my brother lives right down the street. I really want to be in the same neighborhood as my brother. We help each other with the kids, blah, 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 whatever the reason is. That's emotional value. We've discussed this many times here. I can't gauge that. So that's really up to the buyers to decide. So when people say to me, let's just put the house on the market and let's let somebody like throw me an offer. No, just put your house where it should be and let them decide how much they want it with emotional value.
Yeah. And you can say no.
Yeah, and you can say no. One of the other things, too, as you were talking, some of the things that I was thinking about is the people who did come on the market maybe like November, late November, December, and if they were priced too high, because houses that are priced accurately are the ones that are selling. It doesn't mean we're underpricing houses. So stop saying it, stop thinking it, stop even assuming it. I am not saying underprice your house. I'm saying put it on the market for the range to which I'm telling you that the value of your house is based on other similar comps.
Yeah.
That's why when I do CMAs, you know this, I bring people right into the office. I bring up MLS. I show them the criteria and boop, this is everything that pops up. Now you tell me why you think that your house has the same value of this house.
Yeah.
Right? So it's easy to do.
Well, you've been having that conversation recently with a couple people of, you know, sort of getting them to come around to your understanding of what their value is and trying to get them to understand what it is. And I think at the end they go, oh, yeah. You're right. And you're in your head, you're probably like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. And it only told me
I've been doing this for a million years.
Yeah. And the thing is what I love about doing what I do when it comes to pricing houses is numbers are numbers. Like there's no really fluctuation for me. And I know that anybody can make numbers do anything. That's why I don't particularly like statistics. Like, I'm the number one agent here, and I'm the number one this. And like,
number one in what?
Yeah. And it just doesn't matter to me. I don't gauge success by a number. I gauge it by how happy my clients are, first of all. But numbers, when you're looking at the sale price of a house, it's here's that 4-bedroom colonial. Here's one that's very similar. Nothing's ever going to be identical unless it's new construction. This is what we think the value of the house is, a little bit more, a little bit less, you know? And I do a little dancing with my clients as well, if you want to call it that, is, okay, well, here's your house and it's, you know, on a cul-de-sac. Here's a house that's very similar when it comes to square footage and condition and style, blah, 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 but it's on a busy street. This house sold for $500,000. Yours is very similar, but on a cul-de-sac, well, maybe we can go up a little bit. You know what I mean? Just based on some of those variables. Or maybe you have the 2-car attached garage and another one doesn't. Okay, we'll give you a little bit more. But like, we're not giving you hundreds of $1,000s more.
Right.
The only person that's going to offer you $100,000 more for your house is the person that wants to have it badly.
Right. Yeah. I want to do this segment here. So why now might be the right time to list your home. So we were going to do a show. The other day we decided we were going to do a show about, like, we'll go back in our shows from last year and say, oh, do you still feel this way? So I'm going to combine it a little bit. So this first point here, buyer demand often starts building before traditional spring timelines. Do you agree with that?
I do. I think when it comes like to the holidays and things like that, you know, that people are with their family and their friends and it's like, oh, have you found a house yet? You know what I mean? That conversation happens. But I think when a buyer is looking for a house and there's low inventory, I think the eyes are always open.
Yeah.
And then for somebody in other areas, like in Texas, for example, where Mackenzie bought, and there's a lot of inventory. I know, like, you know, maybe she was continuing to look, you know what I mean? Like, even when she was like, remember, she was going to take a break. Remember, like, after this, the house she's in, actually, she had under agreement. It fell apart then because of some inspection issues. But then we went back to the house and all that was sort of resolved. But she decided that she was just going to take a break and not even look. And she was going to wait until the spring to see if more things come on. I think with buyers, one of the things that buyers do is they have FOMO.
Yeah.
So they have this huge fear of missing out. And I never want anyone to settle for the house that they're in. But you also think about the consequences of maybe waiting. So if you wait until there's maybe more inventory, and we can't predict that, we're feeling it.
Yeah.
But who knows what's going to happen? If we have more inventory, you're going to have more buyers. You're going to have more competition. So the good houses are always going to stand out with the best price.
Yeah. There's a point here that less competition early on can mean stronger attention on your listing. So less competition, there's more eyes looking at, you know, the less inventory that there is. So I agree with that.
Yeah.
It also says cleaner offers. Do you agree with that?
Cleaner offers when?
Like less competition, cleaner offers?
For the buyer? No,
for the seller.
For the seller receiving they receive cleaner offers
when there's less competition.
No, I feel like, to be quite honest, I feel like they see cleaner offers when there's more competition.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I want to make mine look as clean as possible.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think maybe you'll see cleaner offers if their offer isn't based on like sale price.
Yeah.
So if somebody's on for $500 and somebody offers $450, well, and then also think we can't waive home inspection here in Massachusetts anymore either.
Yeah.
So what is really a clean offer?
Well, yeah, and I also think that there's less when there's less competition. So fewer houses on the market. Mm-hmm. So that house gets more offers, so multiple offers. I think that the negotiations don't happen as often because you should be putting your best foot forward. So there's no reason really to go back and negotiate certain parts of the offer because if I was a buyer and I was a buyer up against a lot of other offers, I tried to put my best foot forward in the beginning and just say, this is it. This is what I got.
And I think that that's a good mindset to have, Mel, too. And it's something that it's hard to talk to buyers about that sometimes where, hey, listen, if this is your threshold, this is as high as you feel as if you want to go on this house and there are multiple offers on it, go all in. And if you don't get it, oh, well, let's move on.
Yeah. Right?
You did the best that you possibly could. There's nothing you can do to change that. Thank you. Next. Right. Yeah. But I also think that if you don't have multiple offers, then no, you don't have to take that approach either. You could sort of, throw in something a little bit lower. I hate that term, but throw in an offer that's a little bit lower or maybe with different terms and conditions and maybe the seller. And it really does depend on where the seller is too, right? Is the seller, is it contingent upon the seller finding suitable housing? Mm-hmm. So maybe the buyer is saying, look, I'm a very strong financial buyer. I am willing to pay, this amount for the house because I'm also willing to wait for you to find your next one.
Yeah.
And that's going to cost you some money.
Yeah. I have that somewhere in here of, knowing, this is all about knowing when the right time to sell is. And we've always said the right time to sell is when you're ready. Mm-hmm. And part of that readiness is, if you're looking for something else to buy, do you have to sell in order to purchase something? Mm-hmm. Because, you have a client right now that was in a great financial position where they didn't have to necessarily sell their house in order to purchase. Mm-hmm. But now they are going to be selling their house. Mm-hmm. So, that was a great position for them because that was a contingency that didn't need to be in their offer. Mm-hmm. So that was great for them, but that's not everybody. So I think that, when you are asking yourself the question, is right now the right time for me to sell? Think about where your financial position is within your home. So how much equity you have in that, maybe how much, money you have set aside for a down payment and things like that. If you have to sell your home, if you don't have to sell your home, and all, what your timeline is for all of that as well. Would definitely impact if you're ready.
Yeah. And we actually had some of this conversation probably October-ish or maybe September at some point, hey, if you're not coming on in the fall and you are thinking about coming on spring, we always said that, right? It's the Monday after Super Bowl Sunday. You should be decluttering and doing all that other stuff. So I see a lot of people sort of getting into that mode right now. And just make sure that I leave, a few minutes at the end of the show so I can discuss a couple of these new listings where they're going to be. And then if people want more information on them, they can call me directly and I can tell them more about those listings.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
So the next segment is, how do you know it's the right time for you to list? First talking point I have is life-driven timing versus market-driven timing. Mm-hmm. When we talk about market-driven timing, I think that we first thing that comes to mind for me in the beginning of the year is spring market. So, okay, everyone says, oh, I'm waiting for the spring. But now this year, I feel like we have things coming on even before the quote unquote spring market starts. So I don't know, is that life driven or is it market driven?
I think it's a little bit of both. And this, as you're saying that, I have not put any thought into it other than the one that just popped into my head, is I would bet that all this new inventory that we're seeing coming on the market, because I just did a scan of the 4 new listings that I'll be getting, coming on soon, right? None of them have children that are in the school. In the school system. So they're not thinking, because, you generally speaking, when we get a listing or when you're buying a house, you're going to be closing within 30 to 45 days, maybe 60 days, right? So people are trying to back that out in the calendar. Kids get out of school at the end of June, mid-June. We'd love to be there for the summer. So they're thinking, oh, April makes sense, right? So I really think that probably the demographic of sellers that we're seeing right now are the ones where life circumstances don't really matter, other than, obviously death, disability, divorce, those types of things.
Well, also, we just had holidays where a whole family is together and they could have had a conversation of, okay, hey, I think it's time for mom and dad to sell their house.
Exactly.
Especially if, it's going to end up being like an estate sale or it has a personal representative selling certain homes. I think that, that towards the end of the year and the holidays, it's sort of, you're with your family and you sort of see that more than you do in your everyday life. And you might be having those conversations of like, hey, I think it might be time.
One of the things too, I scribble little notes as you're talking and sort of backtracking a little bit when we were talking about houses that did come on the market in like November, December. This conversation came up in our class yesterday. And I want buyers to understand something too, is lean into your buyer's agent. We've told people who are listening over and over again the importance of having a buyer's agent. You know what I mean? You want your representation for that. They will probably be able to look at when it came on the market and assess why it's still on the market. But those people were probably priced too high, which is why it didn't sell, came on during the holidays and everything, where it just got a little hectic. But now we're starting to see price changes. Yeah. And for those people, they probably just should have priced it right and it would have sold. But they were probably just saying, no, let's just see what happens during the holidays. Because we've also said here, only serious buyers are out during the holidays, so you don't have as many interruptions. But now you're seeing price changes and you're seeing days on market, DOM, days on market. Those numbers are starting to trickle up a little bit higher, where we're seeing 30, 60 days on the market. You want to talk about a little bit how we discussed that yesterday in the office and how how buyers are sort of perceiving that and how they're just saying,
perceiving what?
The days on market.
Oh,
now.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because, days on market. And we've talked about this because you have a high days on market because you do new construction, and that's understandable. You can't sell a house if it's still just dirt. So the clock starts as soon as we put it in MLS. But yeah, we did talk about days on market yesterday, and we talk about it often because I think that sometimes there is a misconception of, okay, what's wrong with the house? It has a high days on market. What's going on with this? Recently, somebody had sent me something. I have a friend who loves antiques, and that is not for everybody. Yeah. Eventually their forever home would be an antique. And she just happened to send me something one-off and say, what's wrong with this house? Like, it's been on the market for so long. And I said, well, they're looking for a very specific buyer. I mean, this house was built in the 1700s. It's not for everybody. So it has a high days on market because not everybody is looking for that. Sorry. Hi, Jenny. Okay, you're here.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Ginny Wandell is here.
Ginny Wandell is here, and she's doing coffee and what does she call it?
Coffee and conversations.
Coffee and conversations. Yes.
Yeah,
So
perfect.
if you want to come by the office at 19 Mattakesett Street, Ginny is in our conference room today. So if you are thinking about buying or selling a home, Ginny is here. And Ginny Wandell, of course, is a full-time real estate agent here at Boston Connect Real Estate. She's been with me since the beginning, 15 years now.
Yeah.
And I was her buyer's agent. Did you know that?
I think so.
Yeah, at one point I was. So she's downstairs in the conference room, and I think that this is, hey, you don't know where you can go until you know where you are. So this is something else I brought up to Ginny yesterday too, is, put it out there that you can do like a flash. I called it like flash dating,
Yeah.
where somebody can come in, just give her your address, and she can put MLS up, look at all the comps with you. You can tell her the condition of your house. She can give you a general estimate of the value of your house. Now, if you want something more specific than that, then you would definitely have her come out to the house and look at those, look at that, look at the house. But she can give you a general idea. Don't always trust what the algorithms on Zillow and Realtor.com are telling you. They don't go in your house. They don't know if you're on the water. They're basically using tax information for that.
I'm laughing because we did this the other days for our own house. And we're like, I wonder what our estimates are.
Yeah. I feel like yours was great. I feel like mine was low.
Yours was low. I was like, no, there's no way.
Yeah.
Bump that up a little bit or a lot.
But nobody has an ugly baby,
Nobody
right?
has an ugly baby. I know. Well, I think potentially I might have an ugly baby. But I'm like, wow, if I could get that, I'm putting it on tomorrow. But then we have nowhere to go.
Then you have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
A common problem of everybody.
But back to days on market. So again, like it's almost sort of like the first question people have is like, oh, what's wrong with this? But let's backtrack a little bit to the beginning of the show. Pricing your house accordingly is so crucial.
It's so
because
crucial.
people are going to ask that question, what's wrong with your house?
I know. And people, I wish that there was I'm going to have to do a little research more on this, and maybe ChatGPT can help me. Like, how do I get the message across to people that, like, when I show them, some people are right on. Like, if they are into numbers and they understand and I'm showing them everything, they can clearly see it. But in their heart of hearts, they might be saying, hey, maybe Zillow or Realtor.com or one of those algorithms are telling them higher than what I am telling them. It's really hard to trust me as a real estate agent, because here's the thing. Listen, I've been doing this so long. I'm going to bump into all of you at, Stop and Shop or the Big Y, which is going to be across the street from us. We can't wait for that. For the people who know what I look like, you're going to see me. If you hear me talking, I get that all the time. Like, how do I know her? I'm not ducking in the produce aisle because somebody feels as if I did something unethical, right? So my job is to tell you what I feel the market value of your house is. It isn't what I think or feel, to be quite honest. It's what the numbers are saying, and that's what we go off of. And I think that that's a good foundation for somebody to put their house on the market. Let the market then go up from that amount.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to pay you $100,000 more, then let them.
Yeah.
Even if it's $50,000, whatever it is, it's all going to be on circumstance and why that house is most important to buyers. But you definitely have to price it right to begin with.
Yeah. When you get the question about timing the market, how do you have that conversation with people? Like when they say, oh, well, it's not just when's the right time. It's more of like, we talked about this when it came to holidays and the end of the year, and we did a little, poll survey. I don't know what it was. And we had people call in, remember, and get Dunkin' Donuts gift cards. And everyone was like, well, if you're ready, then you're ready. Like, just put it on the market.
Yeah.
So when you talk about timing the market, how do you have that conversation with your sellers?
Yeah. Well, and a lot goes into it. I mean, that's why we sort of give the advice in late fall, early winter. Like, if you're thinking about it next spring, start doing these things now. Start the purging, start the cleaning, start all of those things to have your house prepared.
Yeah.
Because what's going to happen is, as more inventory is coming on the market, then you're going to see the house that you want, and you're not going to be prepared. It's going to be very difficult for me as your buyer's agent to go and say, oh, would you accept this offer? Because my client doesn't even have their house ready to go on the market yet. But would you be willing? Like, why would anybody else be willing to put their life on hold so you can get your, oh, I almost said it.
Oh,
get your you-know-what together, but get your ducks in a row.
I was listening to the radio the other day, not WATD, I apologize, but I was listening to the radio the other day, and somebody swore.
How dare you?
I know.
Just kidding. Somebody
swore.
Really?
And they were like, oh, come on. And they had to they did a button later on as a joke, but they were like, oh, goodness.
All right, well, there's a fine. Someone's getting fined.
Yes, someone's getting fined.
But it's a big deal.
I don't know. Again, I don't.
Who cares?
Talk to whoever's in charge of the airspace.
You walk down the street.
The FCC cares. That's who cares.
Okay, so can I ask a question then? The FCC.
Okay.
So who regulates? Who's in charge of the regulating of the swearing on TV? Who's in charge of that? Like regular TV, not like HBO and stuff. I know that they have, but
on TV, you can put the ratings on the screen and give the people the heads up. But I think there is a limit to how much profane vocabulary they use per episode or something like that.
Or maybe it can be after a certain time or something. I don't know.
Yes, I think that's a part too. But when you talk about TV, network TV, it's pretty much out of the question. And also sometimes I think it might depend on the context of the swearing. Because American Horror Story had some swearing in it, and that was a primetime show. I think that was on at 10 o'clock on FX. But that was FX. That's a cable
FX,
channel.
That's what I was saying. So FX. So I used to watch Sons of Anarchy, and you would think that they would swear. Big bad bikers, never swore. Yeah. They didn't say anything. But then when Mayans came on, which is an extension of that show, at the same exact time on FX, swearing up a storm, and I said,
well, maybe they were bikers that didn't like to swear. Aren't you putting
so I was
in a
curious. I was like,
there?
did something happen over at FX where now they can swear?
I've never even heard
sometimes things get changed around. I don't work for the FCC, but
it's the FCC.
But they become a little looser over the years, and I think sometimes there may be argument from the people making the show and say, look, the script could benefit from a little bit stronger language. I don't know.
Oh, my God. Could you imagine if they gave me approval for one day?
Well, it'd have to be approval from Ed, too, I think.
Okay,
Sharon, I don't know about this.
I don't think I like that word.
This is a family station.
Oh, yes. Yes. Okay.
Thank you for listening with your family, everyone.
Yes.
Okay, so, but, one of the segments I have here is what sellers should be doing right now to prepare. So you exactly, said it. If you have this inkling in your head that you're going to be selling at some point, start decluttering. I wouldn't say totally depersonalize, but there are things that can be taken down a little bit here and there. Do some minor repairs that need to be done. It doesn't mean just because you think you're going to be putting your house on the market the next month or so doesn't mean completely redo your kitchen. We talk about these things.
The big question I'm getting right now from my clients is, okay, Sharon, you're saying that spring market starts the Monday after Super Bowl Sunday, February 9th. Well, should I try to get ahead of that? So that's the people trying, as it was previously, April, May, should I get ahead of that? Now it's, should I get ahead of that? And I think a lot of people are doing that. However, the inventory is still very low. I have potentially it's going to be coming on the market, a 4-bedroom colonial in Norwell. And, that house, do we rush to get it on the market? Do we wait? Either way, it doesn't matter. There are no active listings no active colonials with this type of criteria, with the swimming pool and the sunroom and all those things. There are none on the market right now. So you could come on the market. Yes, you're going to sell, but guess what? If you wait until February, there's probably not going to be many houses on. How many houses will actually be on the market? It isn't like we're going to have 60 and our absorption rate is going to be 3 to 6 months. So that's not going to happen anytime soon. So I don't think here we have to worry about it.
Well, I talked about this with Tracy Graney, who does the show here with me sometimes. And, she's a full-time agent here at Boston Connect Real Estate with her husband, Jim. They make up the Grady team. We talked about this when they were selling their neighbor's house in Hanover, and how when they started the conversation, there was no inventory, no comparables. And then all of a sudden, when her client was ready to come on the market, then there were 2 or 3 other homes that were pretty much identical. that went under agreement pretty quickly.
Yeah. That actually happened to us, didn't it? Like last year, I was putting something on the market and something else came on the market that was very similar.
Yeah.
And I opted to wait a week.
Yeah.
Let that house go under agreement because I felt like that house was going to be my competition anyways.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to put like my listing to get sort of lost in that, the wave of that. I don't remember what house it was, but I do believe that no matter in certain areas, certain towns, certain neighborhoods, certain house styles, certain everything it isn't really going to matter. I think that there is, a bum for every seat is what I like to say because the FCC won't let me say the other word. Can I tell you a joke?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I was going to let you talk about your listings.
I do want to talk about my listings, but I want to tell you a joke.
Okay.
So, I don't know if I can tell it. Yeah, I may not be able to. All right, I'll tell you off air.
Okay. Sounds good. We'll talk about some of your listings that are coming on, and then we'll do final thoughts.
Okay, yes. So a couple things. I have a new listing, which is absolutely adorable, 2-bedroom, probably was a cottage at one time, completely converted, heat and everything. And it's on Stetson Pond in Pembroke, and it's on Blueberry Lane. So if you are looking for direct waterfront on a fully recreational pond, I would say one of the cleanest ponds in Pembroke. And it's, I know that Wampatuck and Oldham Pond is recreational too. And I think that that's a great pond as well. But that's a little more activity because there's the public side of that, the public beach and everything. This is very private to the homeowners. I mean, there are sections where you can, launch and splash, kayaks and things like that to go fishing, but very, very private, right? Yeah. It's near where you are.
Oh, I was like, is that the one we got engaged on?
You got engaged on Stetson Pond. Yeah.
Okay.
So, that is coming on the market for $525, and we have photography going on there on Monday. We'll be doing some drone and video and everything. But if you want more information about that, again, it's a house. It's on Blueberry Lane, and it is $525, 2-bedroom, and year round, not just a pond. Has a nice, big deck on the back and everything.
Yeah.
So functional. You can put a dock in and stuff if you want to do that too. And then again, if you're interested in the Norwell market, and you want to discuss with me, an opportunity for a 4-bedroom colonial, and, you can call me on that one as well. That's probably going to be $1.1 million is probably where that one is going to land. Swimming pool, beautiful sun deck, porch, sunroom, probably the best I've ever seen. I love it. I want one. And it's a 4-bedroom. It's nicely done, newer things like windows, door, like roof and stuff like that. And those, I guess, are the ones that I'll talk about for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And of course, I have new construction. So
yeah,
we only have 3 left over at Cushing Trails down in Hanson off of Spring Street.
A lot of activity recently.
A lot of activity. My guess is that in the next week or so, we probably will have none left. Yeah. So if you want to visit Sue or Faith this weekend, they will be doing open houses there from 10 to 12. Again, that's Cushing Trails in Hanson. It's Howland Trail, Hayford Trail. So you can find those off of Spring Street in Hanson. The other one, today will be in West Bridgewater at Cochesset Estates. We are opening phase 3. We're going to be having a big event on February 12th. So you're all invited to that to come tour the new construction there. And we have an array of different condos going up there, townhouses. So come visit me. I'll be there today. Again, it's Cochesset Estates. You can use Metacomet Road, 16 Metacomet Road in West Bridgewater. I'll be there today from 10 to 2. Mary will be there tomorrow, 10 to 2.
Perfect. Go to BostonConnect.com to find all of our contact information and all of our open houses.
And don't forget about Ginny. Ginny's in the office, 19 Mattakesett Street. If you want to talk real estate, she's here today.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Tim.
Bye, Tim.
Bye.
Neighborly day for a beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood.